Before we actually start, do you know what procrastination means? In our sense, in the sense of self improvement, it means putting off hard tasks that you know you should be doing, but you don't want to. For most of my life, I'd say 90%, I've been a lazy fuck. If I had the choice to not go do something productive, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't do it. I would have much rather stay inside, playing video games or watching a movie, eating junk food, whatever, than doing something hard, doing something productive. Procrastination usually comes from a fear of failure, perfectionism, lack of motivation, and surprisingly enough, an unclear schedule. If you don't have a schedule, then your life's just going to be a mess. And if your life's a mess, then you're only going to be relying on motivation. The first two things that you should do is one, set a clear goal, and two, make a proper schedule. If you don't have either of those, then you're only going to be relying on motivation, and procrastination is going to be the driving factor in your life. Procrastination will determine whether you succeed or not. Having goals means something to strive for, right? Someone without an end goal doesn't know what they're doing. And realistically, you can't be doing something without an end goal. You go on a walk because you clear your head, right? You don't go on a walk for no reason, just to do nothing. Having a schedule is also very important. Imagine one of your goals is to learn a language in a couple of months. You set how many hours you want per day to learn that language, right? But then imagine you don't do that. You dis you decide daily when you want to learn and if you want to learn. That if that is what determines whether you're going to do it or not. If you have a schedule that you're disciplined to stick to, then you're never going to rely on motivation. And procrastination will never determine whether you succeed or not, right? And setting clear, good goals for yourself just gives you more clarity. And breaking that goal up into smaller ones, like for example, if you want to build a good body in your gym, then one of your smaller goals could be to bench a certain weight. That you could split that bench into smaller ones. And that way it doesn't seem so intimidating, right? Right then, right there, we just removed the fear of failure. And having a schedule just makes you more accountable to your actions. Setting a certain number of hours or minutes, whatever, per day to learning something, learning a new skill, like a language, sets you accountable if you don't do it. What I have is I have a piece of paper on my wall with daily goals. I have YouTube, I have study, I have meditation, reading, and others. If I don't do those, who else is gonna know but me? And maybe some other people that walk in my room, but that's whatever. The fact that I'm the only one that knows that I didn't do it is the perfect accountability that you need to actually do them. What I have is the list, right? How am I gonna feel at the end of the month when I see that I didn't do that activity? I'm gonna feel like shit because I set a goal for myself, but I didn't do it. It's also really important when making your schedule to prioritize your tasks. Let's say you're in school and you work. Those two things, you can't change them. Those two are permanent in your schedule. So you have to work around it. You have to make clear sections in your schedule for when you want to work, when you want to work out, when you want to meditate, read, everything. Your schedule should be exactly what you want to do in your life during your day. Imagine a life where you don't have a schedule. Your whole motto is go with the flow. Whatever, I'll just do whatever I feel like. You're never gonna have any ambition. You're never gonna get anywhere in life. You're gonna be unhappy because you're gonna be doing all this random shit that you don't even care about. Like Imagine you're one of those people. Maybe you are. Let's say you don't have a schedule. How do you know what you're gonna do in a couple of hours? Do you just decide on the spot? Oh yeah, today I'm gonna play video games for 5 fucking hours. I'm gonna watch porn. But if you have a schedule, you know exactly what you're gonna do and for how long. You should always have times in your schedule dedicated to deep work. Deep work is probably the most important thing that'll get you to your goals. Deep work just allows you to work as hard as possible for a couple of hours. That is what'll get you ahead of the competition. But if you just decide on the spot that you're gonna have a deep work session, then it's never gonna be as good as the person who decided a couple of months ago that they're gonna have a deep work session right now. The next thing that you should do is you should start eliminating most of the distractions in your life. I say most because obviously there are some that you can't really change, like your family. And obviously, your family is a distraction if you want to do real work. Eliminating distractions is obviously really important because if you don't want to procrastinate, then you should get rid of all the things that you would have done if you do procrastinate. Something that can help you greatly in this is a dopamine detox. Dopamine detox is just removing all the easy dopamine factors in your life, like social media, your phone, all of those, just because they're actually big distractions. Removing those only lets you have more time to do the things you want to do or the things you need to do. And even if you start procrastinating, what else are you going to do? Just quit on your dopamine detox? I've been on a dopamine detox for around about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And already, I've done so much more work than I've done previously. During the time that I would have spent on my phone, scrolling on social media, or doing another bullshit activity, you know what I do instead? I work, I study, I do real productive things. If you have goals, if you have ambitions in life, then there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't go on a dopamine detox. A dopamine detox is basically just a cheat code to smashing your goals. It removes one of the biggest distractions in your life, your phone. Imagine you didn't have Imagine you didn't have your phone. All you had to do was work. That's what a dopamine detox is. It's just pure focus on your work. Focus on what really matters in your life. The next thing that you should do is to find your motivation. And this also ties in with your goals. Having goals means something that you want to achieve in life, right? Something that you're actually motivated to do. And of course, along your goal setting journey, when you're trying to get that goal, of course, you're going to dip down in motivation and you're not going to feel like doing it. And that's when you're going to start being disciplined, right? But finding your motivation, it should be aligned to your core values. All of these goals, they shouldn't not be you. They should be everything that you want in life, everything that you're motivated to achieve. The last thing that you should do is to let go of being a perfectionist. If your goal is to build the perfect body, then you're always going to be relying on motivation. You're never always going to be disciplined to go to the gym because you're sometimes going to have that fear of failure, fear of not getting where you want to be. Being a perfectionist can pretty much like fuck up your entire life. After you do one task and you complete it, you start to think, "Oh my god, did I actually do this perfectly? Did I do it really good?" But once you start to let go, you start to realize that you did all you could. Maybe you didn't, but whatever. Does it really matter? It's finished. So now you're done. And maybe even if you're not done, just do better. Try harder next time. Freeing up time to do the tasks that you need to do is probably one of the most important things that you have to do. I've played football, European football, soccer, for about 8 years of my life. And about a month ago, I quit. And ever since then, I've had so much free time in my life. I finally got to make my perfect schedule when I go to sleep and when I wake up. Because usually my practices were pretty late and they kind of ruined my schedule. And they ruined how much sleep I got during that night. But now I have a lot of free time that I can use to build my future, to work on my goals. If you had studied psychology for around about 5 minutes, you would have learned about something called positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is basically just reinforcing or encouraging the idea of doing something over and over again by rewarding yourself or your subject. Let's say you have a cat, for example, and they do something you like. They do something that you want to do, that you want them to do again. So you give them a treat. In their mind, they'll think, oh, yes, I did this, and I got a treat afterwards, so I'll do it again. You can do that on yourself. After you do a really hard task, you can reward yourself. Obviously, don't reward yourself with some random bullshit thing that'll only bring you down, like junk food or porn, something like that. Reward yourself with something nice, like going for a walk, something that could actually be useful to you, but that's also a reward. Something also pretty important to note is the domino effect. Domino effect in our sense of procrastination. What if one day you didn't discipline yourself to not make your bed? That one time you didn't do that might lead to another time and then another time. That'll lead you to being more lazy. Being more lazy might lead you to not doing an even more important task during the day, like spending time with family or doing your work. Small little things like that can lead to even bigger problems in the future. So it's important to stay disciplined right now and not procrastinate so they don't procrastinate later in the future. If you remember to implement these steps into your life, into your schedule, then I guarantee that you'll be doing the most productive work that you have ever done. I guarantee it.